Yeah.
Yeah.
Battlefield 4 Dragon's Teeth DLC. Do you want to go?
No, go ahead.
All right. 4 new maps. I was asked to review these for Eurogamer, and so I did. 4 new maps based around. There's always a story tie-in, something to do with China. I can't remember. I wasn't really paying attention. But the idea is that they're more infantry-based maps than the naval assault stuff that was happening before, and some of the bigger maps that are in Battlefield 4 generally. There are a few vehicles in the maps, but they are primarily infantry maps. One's called Propaganda, which is set in kind of a snowy square, I guess you'd call it, with propaganda being piped out with loudspeakers and a statue and things like that. I thought that was the most basic of the 4 maps. Kind of it operates in a straight line between one into the other. Nice map, nothing hugely memorable about it, but it's a good job there. Next one of the maps was Lumpini Gardens, which is a bigger map with kind of a central couple of bridges and a like sunken garden thing. Very cool map. Has a cool evolution thing. I don't know if you've seen that, where this huge thing tumbles through the trees in the background and smashes through a train bridge. Doesn't hugely change the level, but it looks very cool. Good design, good choke points for rush. It works well on conquest as well. I'm going to talk about the new mode at the end of this. The next map is it called Pearl Market?
That sounds right.
Yeah,
it's definitely something market.
Yeah, I'm going to say Pearl Market. This is a kind of narrow alleyways, high buildings type of map where they have the capture. Like at least one of the capture points is on a roof, like multi-story building. So it's all about making sure you control the higher ground and you can pick troops off from below. Cool map, the very, very strong personality. There's some cool little destruction stuff where you can blow things up and it creates bridges between the rooftops. Sorry, and it doesn't feel like too many other Battlefield maps. It kind of has echoes of the Grand Bazaar. Grand Bazaar in Battlefield 3, but it doesn't have the big open spaces of that map. Cool map. And finally, probably the pick of the bunch is Sunken Dragon, I'm going to call it.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, which is it felt like a real instant classic, Battlefield 4 classic. Pretty big map with centered around like a restaurant that's kind of collapsed into the ground in the middle. A big, really ornate Chinese restaurant, and there's a thing that you can do where you can change the dam. So the whole central area, which is dry basically, can fill up with water, and it fills the restaurant up with water, and you can get in there. There's a catch point in there. You can get in there with jet skis and stuff. It's really, really cool. It looks amazing. Like the background's all skyscrapers, and you can have battles in the skyscrapers and helicopters flying around. Just a really fucking cool map. Very, very cool. And they've added a new mode called Chain Link, which I thought was a genius new mode, quite frankly. This is, it's got a combination of conquest, but with a very specific take on it. There's multiple points on every map, like more than normal, 5 or 6. And they're all basically in a straight line. And the idea is that you have to capture the ones that are next to each other, and that will create a link and like a pretend link between the maps. So say you get A, B, and C, that will create a link between A, B, and C, which means even if the other guys have a couple of capture points and they're not linked together, they're not next to each other, they don't count. So you need to create a big link between your capture points, and that will make their spawn tickets bleed quicker. So the longer link that you have compared to them, the quicker their spawn tickets will bleed. This works brilliantly in 2 ways. One, it kind of creates a natural front line to the battle, which it does stuff that's what Rush does. It creates a natural front line to the battle, so you have these skirmishes over particular points. But what it does better than Rush even, I think, is the fact that you can also flank and start capturing the ones round the back that would be typically like home-based control capture points. So it's all about striking that balance between creating a link from your home base or creating a link in the middle and making sure that you can keep up with people trying to flank you. It's only a 12-on-12 game mode, so it's not quite as hectic as 64-player Conquest, but there's never enough players on the map to control everything solidly at once. So there's always something going on. There's always something where you're going to have to be chasing behind you or thinking about what's going on. And it just felt like this is such a great idea for a mode. When I first played it, I thought it was probably too gimmicky. But the more I played it, it feels purpose built for these maps. It only works on these maps as well at the moment. But it feels like something we're going to see more of. What do you think?
I love Chain Link. I mean, I think it's a small. Isn't it 16v16? Isn't it 32 players?
I didn't see more than 12v12 in the times that I played it on PS4, but you may well be right.
I haven't counted, but I mean, no, you may be right. I mean, it's a smaller game type. I mean, this map pack is the closest thing that we're probably going to get to a close quarters equivalent because everything's smaller.
Yeah.
I'm glad they didn't shoehorn Chain Link into a 64-player game type because I don't think it would work.
No.
I'm kind of stuck about this map pack because the great thing about the past expansions is that they've worked across all of the different game types, and these maps in Conquest don't really work at all because they're not built for maps. I mean, Propaganda, when you start that on Conquest, they give you a couple of tanks, but the map's not built for it. You're trying to sort of go over these walls that are clearly trying to lock out tank combat. They are infantry based, which is why I don't understand why they've put a couple of vehicles in almost all of them. Did you think this is a good looking bunch of maps?
I thought Sunken Garden looks amazing. What were the other ones? That one with the high buildings kind of just is what it is. Kind of looked like something out of the Medal of Honor games, I thought.
Yeah, right.
And then what was the? Yeah, I mean, I didn't think it was bad looking. No.
It's weird. We were playing it on Xbox One, and all of us playing it were saying this is by far the ugliest map pack. Just into the resolution's quite fuzzy, and they don't look as rich.
No, I didn't. No, but with them, the PS4 version is a higher resolution anyway. So.
That's true. I don't know. We were looking at the thing is we were looking at it and we were discussing how, in comparison to Naval Strike, we just thought this looks really quite drab. And then my girlfriend walked in and she was like, "Wow, look at how gorgeous that is! This is the best looking map I've ever seen." I was like, "Oh, okay. Obviously, I'm out of touch here, so I don't know. I don't know what that's about quite." One of the best things about this map pack is that it's the official return of 32-player Rush. Because 32-player Rush has been available for a little while because if you had your own server you could tinker with the settings, but Rush has been 64 players and there have not been enough tickets, so to play official servers 32-player Rush has been an absolute joy, and Rush on these maps, it's glorious. It's Battlefield in all its glory, and playing 32-player Rush has been an absolute joy. That's the best part of this map pack, but I find just this chunk quite indistinctive, really. I mean, in comparison to the other map packs. I mean, Sunken Dragon, which you spoke about, looks like the building at the beginning of Inception.
Yes.
And it's absolutely great on Team Deathmatch because it's just that restaurant, but you have 3 floors, and it's so big that you're constantly being taken by surprise. On Team Deathmatch, that's a classic. But I think, it's the most confused of the sort of quote-unquote themed expansions, because that's what they've always been called. They've never been called map packs.
Yeah.
I mean, the maps are big, but they don't work with vehicles. A couple of them may be classics, but I guess I need to play them some more. I put in about 8 hours with my friends, and I'm a little bit nonplussed. I mean, the great thing about Battlefield is that these premium add-ons are genuinely themed. Ever since Battlefield 3, Close Quarters, Armored Kill, they're all genuinely themed.
Yeah.
So themed expansion sounds like a pompous name for a map pack, but it's not really. They are themed, but this is just a map pack with chain link attached to it. So as good as it is to play Battlefield, I mean, again, I should probably stress, I've just come off the back of playing non-stop Titanfall and being completely enamoured with it and thinking it's the greatest thing ever. So going back to Battlefield does genuinely feel like a step backwards, as much as we enjoyed it. Following Naval Strike, which, as I said at the time, felt like a gift, almost an apology to people who'd stuck with Battlefield past the unbelievably shaky launch. This just feels like a few more maps, new game mode. As good as a couple of the maps are, and as good as the gameplay mode is, I'm a little bit underwhelmed at this point.
4 new maps. Based around, there's always a story tie-in, something to do with China. I can't remember, I wasn't really paying attention. But the idea is that they're more infantry-based maps than the naval assault stuff that was happening before, and some of the bigger maps that are in Battlefield 4 generally. There are a few vehicles.
Yeah.
Battlefield 4 Dragon's Teeth DLC. Do you want to go?
No, go ahead.
All right. 4 new maps. I was asked to review these for Eurogamer, and so I did. I thought that was the most basic of the 4 maps. Kind of, it operates in a straight line between one into the other. Nice map. Nothing hugely memorable about it, but did a good job there. Next one of the maps was Lumpini Gardens, which is in the maps, but they are primarily infantry maps. One's called Propaganda, which is set in kind of a snowy square, I guess you'd call it, with propaganda being piped out with loudspeakers and a statue and things like that. A bigger map with kind of a central couple of bridges and a sunken garden thing. Very cool map. Has a cool evolution thing. I don't know if you've seen that, where this huge thing tumbles through the trees in the background and smashes through a train bridge. Doesn't hugely change the level, but